What's going on, guys? I'm Bill, and welcome back to another Minecraft Bedrock farm tutorial video. This video is a very special video because this video is my 100 subscriber special. This video is my way of saying thank you to you guys for subscribing to the channel and helping me reach my milestone. Next milestone, we are going to be shooting for 1,000 subscribers, so if you want to help and you are not yet subscribed, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you do enjoy the content. Just make sure that you hit that bell notification, that way you don't miss a single upload and you are notified with every single video that I post. With that being said, the tutorial that we are going to be building today is directly behind me, and if you can't already tell, there is a pillager outpost. That is because we have a raid factory. You heard me correctly, I did not say raid farm, I said raid factory, and that is because we are using a lot of redstone in order to make this farm as efficient as possible. The whole objective of this farm is going to be killing this banner guy as fast as possible, and as soon as he dies, he's going to give us the bad omen. And then once we have the bad omen, we can then start a raid on the village that is up top. And once that raid starts, then we are going to have all of our raids spawning up top inside of the spawning platform. The raiders do not go easily, especially the Ravagers, so we're using redstone in order to assist them. As you can see here, we have a Ravager ejection system, and it's going to take all of those stubborn Ravagers that do not want to fall down inside of the hole, and it's going to eject them to where they don't have a choice. Once they are ejected, they are either going to land down the chute or they are going to land inside of the compactor. The compactor is going to compact it into a 2x2 area to where it's going to fit nicely down the raid chute. And once everything falls down the raid chute, they fall just far enough to take enough fall damage to be a one-hit kill by the Trident killer. Aside from the Ravagers, they're going to take a little bit longer to die. With that being said, you notice that I am putting Ravagers inside of this Trident killer, and if you know anything about Trident killers and Ravagers, they do not get along. This Trident killer is my very own design, which I recently released, and this thing works very quickly. However, there has to be a few modifications made in order for it to handle spiders and Ravagers. These modifications have been made on this raid farm, and every so often the Trident killer is going to slow down just enough for the Ravagers to fall in, and then they will be dealt with by the Trident killer very quickly. Since the Trident killer kills the raiders very quickly, you will never have any of the evokers summoning any vexes on you, so you should never take any damage while you are AFKing. Once the Trident killer makes short work of all of the raiders, all of their items are going to be pulled down into a hopper minecart and then placed inside of a dropper system. This dropper system is going to drop all of the items down directly below the farm to where they can be collected by a single hopper, and this single hopper can either be hooked up to a bulk storage system or a item filtering system. Whichever you choose, the possibilities are endless whenever it comes to storing all of these items. I would also recommend putting in a non-stackable item system, that way you can separate all of the non-stackable items from all of the stackable items that are coming out of this raid farm. So let's talk rates of the farm, shall we? This farm is going to put out over 3,000 items per hour. These rates are accomplished using a looting 3 sword, holding it while you are AFKing, and also being on hard mode. You can also use this raid farm on easy and normal modes, however you will get slightly less items. So if you want optimal efficiency in order to get the targeted numbers, then go ahead and put it on hard mode if you are able to. Inside of those 3,000 items, roughly about 1,500 of those items are going to be emeralds, so you're going to get a ton of emeralds from it. You're also going to get a ton of other stuff, including armor, tools, all of your witch drops, saddles, a ton of crossbows and arrows, and every book in the game. And if you're wondering what 3,000 items per hour looks like, well, that's going to be about 12 double chests full. Now you might notice that I do not have a super small spawning platform here like you see on a lot of the raid farms circulating YouTube nowadays. And the reason for that is due to efficiency. You see, I did a ton of testing whenever I designed this farm, and I found that if you do not have at least 49 blocks for the raid to be available to spawn on, then you have a chance for the raid to completely scrub, which means if it completely scrubs, then you are going to lose that raid spawn altogether. It will not retry or reattempt to spawn it. You will have to get bad omen again and start the cycle all over. As soon as you start going down below 49 blocks that are available for the raid to spawn on, then you are starting to get into the area to where it's going to start to scrub the spawns more and more over and over. The fewer blocks that you have, the more likely that the raids are going to start to scrub. With the raids not spawning, then this is of course going to substantially lower the rates of your farm, and you are going to lose a ton of efficiency out of it. With that being said, my testing shows you need at least 50 blocks period. 50 is a nice round number to remember, and that is the amount that it is going to take to keep the raids from scrubbing. One more note before we get started: if you are paying close enough attention, you will notice that up there was nothing but leaf blocks and scaffolding blocks blocking all of the spawnable locations. The reason being is that raids cannot spawn on or inside of a leaf block, and they cannot spawn on a scaffolding block. Keyword there being on a scaffolding block, so you'll never get a raid that will spawn on top of the scaffolding block. However, a raid can spawn inside of a scaffolding block, so if you have a raid that spawns here, it's not going to be spawning on the scaffolding block, it's going to be spawning on this grass block below. With that being said, you're going to have to be careful how you're placing these, so follow the tutorial very, very closely. One additional note, this farm is designed for a simulation distance of 4, so if you are using a higher simulation distance, then you are going to have to spawn proof around your area a whole lot more. Since it is designed for a simulation distance of 4, that means that it will work perfectly fine in all of your realms or any other world that has a simulation distance of 4. This farm will also work fine for your lower end devices, although you may get a little bit of lag with the farm running. What do you say? Enough jibber jabber, let's get to building this thing. Everything that you're going to need in order to build this is going to be inside of the description below. And if you like the video, while you're down there, if you don't mind, go ahead and hit that like button for me. It really does help out the channel, and it helps others discover my content. Thanks. With that being said, let's go and find another pillager outpost. All right, guys, I found another pillager outpost here, and this one would be perfect if it wasn't for this giant area here. Give me 1 minute. I have an idea. Hey, would you look at that? I found the perfect pillager outpost out here in the middle of the desert. All jokes aside, it was pretty easy for me to find these using the teleport and the locate command being on creative. However, if you're having trouble finding the pillager outpost inside of your survival world, then there is a website called Chunkbase, and you can go to chunkbase.com. The link is inside the description, and it will show you how to find all of your pillager outposts using your seed. You can also find all kinds of other structures, but we're going to focus on the pillager outpost. So if you need help, then go ahead and click that link in the description below, and that will help you locate a pillager outpost inside of your Minecraft survival world. Once you are at the very top of the pillager outpost, what you're going to want to do is grab you some glass panes, and then you are going to take your glass panes going 1 block up from the ground, and you are going to fill in the entire top of this pillager outpost with glass panes. Make sure that you only fill on this level here, and make sure that you are filling in only the area between these 4 beams. Now we are going to go away from this 24 blocks, and once we get away from this, we will start to see them spawning in. Once you know exactly where he spawned, you're going to remove all of these glass panes, and be careful not to remove the glass panes that are surrounding the pillager. You want to leave the 4 that are totally surrounding him, that way he does not escape, and just go ahead and remove the rest of them. I hate dealing with glass panes, it's a real pain. Okay, I'll stop. Anyways, once you get done, your guy should look like this, and he should be boxed in, totally surrounded, and unable to move. So once you have this guy all boxed in, you'll notice that he is actually in the corner of 4 different blocks here. And we need to figure out which one of these 4 blocks that he is actually spawning on. Now, knowing from experience that mobs are going to spawn on the northwest corner of a block, we can use that information in order to figure out which one of these blocks are going to be his spawning block. However, we are going to need to know what directions we are facing. If you need help figuring out your directions on Minecraft Bedrock, then go ahead and click the shorts video in the top right now. That video is a very short video, which is less than a minute long. It's going to show you 3 different methods in order to figure out which way you are facing. So if you are familiar with using coordinates, then you know that north is going to be this way, and we can figure out from there that west is going to be in this direction, which means northwest will be this direction here. So now we need to go 180 degrees from northwest and face this way, which we're going to be facing southeast. And then we know that our southeast block here is going to be our spawning block. What we are going to do is go ahead and grab a different colored block that we can identify, and we're going to replace that block that is to the southeast of the pillager, and then we know that he spawned on this corner here, which is going to be the northwest. Once we have found the block that he spawned on, we don't need the pillager anymore, so we can go ahead and do away with him, and we can also go ahead and do away with these panes. Next, you're going to grab some glass, and you're going to wrap your glass all the way around here. And you want to make sure that you do not cover up any blocks that are touching that northwest corner there. So you should have a 2x2 area that looks just like this. The next thing that you're going to want to do is remove these 3 blocks here, and then you are going to drop down below. You're going to go to your spawning block, and you're going to go to the right hand side of it, and you're going to place a piston on this block here facing in. Then you're going to turn 90 degrees and place a piston here. Turn 90 degrees one more time, placing a piston here, and turn 90 degrees one last time and place a piston there. If you are standing on the very center of your Trident killer, all of your pistons should be directly below the right hand block. The next thing that I like to do is go ahead and remove this floor here. Removing this floor is going to allow us to have a lot more room to work, and if you're wanting to build any of your storage inside of this room here, then it makes it a lot easier to place chest and hopper inside of here. Once you're down below, you're going to place solid blocks in these locations. Make sure that these solid blocks are solid blocks that redstone can pass through. Then you're going to take your solid blocks and place a solid block here, 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 and here. And then we're going to come down here and fill this in so we don't fall into this hole. And then the next thing that we need to do is figure out what side that our redstone clock is going to go on. We want to figure out the directions. That way we can line up the redstone appropriately. On this clock here, we are going to be placing the redstone clock on the south side. So if we go to our spawning block here, we know that this side is northwest. And if we go to the right, facing this direction, we know that this is going to be north. So if we turn 180 degrees, we know that this is going to be south, which means that we're going to want it on this side here, on the south side. So what we want to do is turn around and face this south side here. And we're going to take a solid block and place a solid block here, place a temporary block here, a solid block here, here, and remove that temporary block there. Next, you're going to go to the right hand side and you're going to place a temporary block right here. And you're going to place a solid block here and here, remove that temporary block. Go to the right again and place a temporary block here, a permanent block here and here, remove that temporary block. Then we're going to do it one more time, place a temporary block here and place one more solid block here. Go ahead and remove that temporary block. So it should look just like this from this angle. And if you're looking at it from the other side, it should look just like this. Next, we're going to place in all of our redstone. So what we want to do is we're going to grab a switch and we're going to place a switch right here on this block. Go ahead and turn that switch on. Grab your redstone torch and place a redstone torch on the right hand side of that block that you just placed the switch on. Next, you're going to go up to this block that you placed the switch on and you're going to place redstone dust here to the left and redstone dust on this block to the left as well. Go ahead and grab your redstone repeater and place it on this block here facing towards the left hand side on a standard 1 tick delay. Do not adjust it. Now whenever you hit the lever, the clock should start running, and whenever you turn off that lever, the clock will turn off. Next, we're going to go to the left hand side here and place down another repeater facing into this block here. Leave this on the standard 1 tick delay. Then go to the left hand side, place redstone dust here with a repeater facing into this block here. Leave that on the standard 1 tick delay. Go to the left one more time and place redstone dust here with another repeater. Again, leaving this on the standard 1 tick delay. Now, once you go down below and hit this lever here, you should have all 4 pistons firing in a circle very, very quickly. Then you can go ahead and turn off that switch. This next part is entirely up to you. All of the drops that are going to be coming down from the top here are going to be landing on the east side of the pillager outpost. And that's where we're going to be building our storage system. Now that's where the hoppers are going to be picking it up. However, you can plumb that however you would like and run it anywhere that you would like. But for the tutorial, they're all going to be coming down here, and I'm going to have the storage system on this side here. And the reason why that is relevant is because we need to find out where we are going to plumb in our storage for the items that are collected from this lower Trident killer. This is going to include a whole lot of banners, arrows, crossbows, and things of that sort that come from these guys here. I personally like to keep these separated from my raid drops, and I don't like them to be inside of the same chest. However, you can route it into the same chest if you would like. But for the sake of this tutorial and keeping it simple, I'm going to have both of these separate, and the drops are going to come out on this side here for the raid drop. And for this Trident killer, I'm going to have the storage system over here on the west side. So if we are facing the north here, then we know that this is the west here, and I'm going to start placing my chest in here. I got little buddy. All right, so what we have here is a bunch of chests and some hoppers, and this is the way that I like to do my storage systems. That way we don't have any items that get stuck inside of a chest, and you know that they will always drain down to the bottom. If you want to build this and follow along, then this is what you need to do, facing all of your hoppers like this and your chest in these positions here. However, all of our items are going to filter into these 3 chests here, and in order to feed these, we're going to have a line going across the top. Now you can run this hopper line from either side here. It does not matter. Just make sure that it lines up and that your hopper line's not going into the center here. So on this instance, we are going to run it from this side over. So what we need to do is go here, turn right to the very last hopper here, place down a hopper facing down there. And with that hopper, we can face some more into it, facing in that direction. And then we're going to face more hoppers into that, running them all the way across until we get to the end of the inside of the Trident killer. Next, you're going to need your glass, scaffolding, some solid blocks, a rail, and your hopper minecart. You're going to go to the center of your trident killer, and you're going to scaffold up until you reach the hoppers here. Once you reach the hoppers, you're going to go to this back hopper here, grab your piece of glass, and place your piece of glass right here. This glass will allow you to see if this hopper minecart ever deletes. It should never delete. However, with Bedrock, you never know what's going to delete. So next we're going to crouch and place down a rail here. On top of that rail, we're going to place our hopper minecart, and then you're going to break your scaffolding a little bit. Select the hitbox on that rail and go ahead and break that rail. Next, you could take your solid blocks, and you're going to place your solid blocks directly below these pistons. So you're going to place one here, one here, one here, and one here. And then you're going to place one to the left of that minecart and one to the right hand side of that minecart. That's going to lock that minecart in place to where it can never move. Again, you have this piece of glass here. That way you are able to see if the minecart ever deletes itself. Next thing that we're going to do is grab our trapdoors, and we're going to place a trapdoor on the back of each one of these pistons. These trapdoors are going to be responsible for keeping all of the water inside of our pistons and keeping the water from leaking out. Next, you're going to want to grab 2 buckets of water and come up to the top of your trident killer, jump down inside of it, and to make an infinite source pool of water, you're going to place in water here and then water across from it on the diagonal corner. It should fill in completely and make this whole entire thing filled with source blocks of water. Then you can pull water out of the source block pool and go ahead and fill each one of your pistons with water. After you've done that, you can go ahead and jump out of here, scaffolding up, and then remove your scaffolding blocks. Do not worry about removing the source blocks of water if you don't want to. As soon as you turn on this trident killer, it's going to remove all of the source blocks of water anyways. So after you've turned it on, you can go back up here and you will see that all of the source blocks have been removed. And now you have water that is flowing around inside of a circle, which is exactly what you should have. The next thing that you're going to want to do is go on top of your spawning block here, face directly up, and remove the block that is directly above it. That way we can see where this spawning block is from above. And then we are going to grab our glass and build this up an additional 1 layer. On this layer that you just built, 1 block up from the spawning spot, you're going to place a piece of glass here. Next, we're going to take 1 more layer of glass and place glass here, 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 and here. And this is going to keep everything contained inside of here and keep them from getting out. Once you have done that, you can go ahead and scaffold up on top of the roof and go exactly to where this hole is. Next, you're going to take a recognizable block and you're going to place a recognizable block right here. And that way you know that this is exactly where these guys are going to spawn down below. Next, we're going to grab our scaffolding and we are going to go up 28 blocks. So if we're at 107 now on our cords, we are going to go up 28, which should bring us to 135. Once you get up to your 28th piece of scaffolding, you're going to want to crouch down so you can't fall off of it. And you want to find out which way west is. Since we know that this is going to be north facing towards the ocean, we know that the west will be this direction here. So from this direction, we're going to place down 1 solid block that redstone could pass through in this direction here. Next, we're going to grab our scaffolding and go up an additional 3. And then we're going to place a leaf block directly over that block there. On this leaf block, we're going to go out 1 more, turn to the left, and we're going to extend this out by 2. So you should have a 2x3 area that is coming out on the west side here. Next, you're going to grab your leaves and we're going to go to this corner here, and we're just going to make a little catwalk that goes all the way around this thing. It is entirely up to you if you wish to fill in the corners at this time. On this side here, you're going to skip out and go 1 block here, and then you're going to bring your leaves around like that. So it should look just like that whenever you get done. Next, we're going to jump back down in here, grab 2 solid blocks that redstone could pass through and place 1 there and there. Grab your 2 levers and place a lever here and a lever here. Then grab your leaves and place a leaf block on each one of them. Next, you're going to want to grab your solid blocks that redstone could pass through, your redstone comparators, some leaves, you're going to want your redstone dust, a redstone block, a couple pistons, some redstone repeaters, and also some hoppers. What you want to do is go down to this lower block that you placed down here, and then you're going to want to come down to where you are facing this block. You're going to turn to the right hand side and you're going to place a block out just like this. Make sure that this block out is exactly 1 block below the block that you placed down here, and it needs to face towards the right of this block. So you want to jump on this block here, and this along with these next 2 are going to be temporary blocks, and then this one here will be a permanent block that will be staying. So go ahead and remove these 3 blocks and leave that one out there. Next, we're going to go back up to this block here that we placed earlier and turn to the right hand side. We're going to build this out an additional 5 blocks. Then we're going to remove this block here place down a piston facing towards us, remove this block here, place down a block of redstone here. Then we're going to go to the other side, turn 180 degrees, skip this block here, and then remove this block here. Go ahead and place a piston here facing towards us again. Both pistons should be facing this block of redstone with a temporary block in between the two. Next, we can turn around and remove this temporary block that is directly behind this piston here. Go ahead and take another temporary block and place right here, and take a hopper and face a hopper into that temporary block. Make sure that that hopper is indeed facing into that block. Then you can go ahead and remove that temporary block. Next, you're going to take your redstone repeater and you're going to face a redstone repeater directly underneath you facing into this piston. Leave this on the standard 1-tick delay. Then you're going to grab your permanent blocks, turn around, and crouch place a permanent block to this side and one directly behind you. So it should look just like that. Next, we are going to take our redstone comparator and we are going to face a comparator coming out of this hopper here. And we are going to crouch place a solid block that redstone could pass through in front of that comparator there, with a piece of redstone dust to the side of it. Next, we're going to jump on top of this block here, and we are going to turn all the way around to where we are facing towards this hopper, and we're going to place down a redstone repeater. This redstone repeater needs to be set on a 4-tick delay, like so. Then we are going to take our solid blocks once more and crouch place a solid block over top of that comparator. We're going to turn towards the left and crouch place a solid block to the left of us, and turn all the way around and place one directly behind us. So the next thing that we need to do is go ahead and grab our redstone torches, and we're going to go to this block here on the other side of the output of that repeater, and we're going to place a redstone torch right here. Next, we're going to jump down here, go ahead and jump over and around, and then we're going to crouch place a hopper facing into this hopper. Make sure that both of these hoppers are indeed facing into one another. That way it can cycle items back and forth. Then you want to go to this piston here, grab you a comparator, and we're going to place a comparator here facing away from this hopper here with a piece of redstone dust on top of it. Next, you're going to want some solid blocks. You're going to want your leaves, some redstone dust, redstone repeaters, and also your observers. We're going to go back up here, and we are going to jump across here and go to this block that is directly behind this repeater here. We're going to take some temporary blocks and we're going to build up by 2, jump down here and remove the block in the center. Then you're going to jump down to this block here. Go ahead and grab your observer and you're going to face your observer straight up. Make sure that that output arrow is facing straight down into this block here. Whenever you remove this temporary block, you should get 1 tick on that repeater there. Next, we're going to jump back up here and we are going to place an additional repeater on top of that observer, and we're going to leave that on the standard 1-tick delay. Next, we're going to take another solid block and place a solid block directly over top of that lower repeater there with a piece of redstone dust on top of it. Then we can take a leaf and place a leaf block here, jump on top, and then we're going to place another solid block on top of that redstone torch with another redstone torch on top of it. Go ahead and take one more leaf block and place a leaf block right there. So all in all, it should look just like that so far. Next, we are going to go to this block here, and we are going to try to continuously spawn proof as we go with leaves. Then you're going to jump to the other side and place a leaf block directly over top of that hopper there. Next, you're going to jump back across your scaffolding here, go on top of this piece of redstone dust and place down another leaf block above it. And then we're going to make our way to the very top of the scaffolding. Once you are up here, you are going to face away from your leaves, and you are going to go down exactly 3 blocks. 1, 2, and 3. Next, still facing away from the leaves, you are going to take 5 temporary blocks and build out in that direction. So we're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If you are standing on top of the blocks that you just placed, you should have exactly 2 pieces of scaffolding sticking up above the temporary block. Next, you're going to turn back all the way around and you're going to come to the end. At this point, you are going to go ahead and grab your solid blocks. You are going to want your rail. You're going to want your hopper minecart. You are also going to want your hoppers. You're going to want your droppers, your observers, and also a stair of your choice. We can start by going 1 block away from the end here, and we are going to place down a permanent block that is directly underneath us. Next, we are going to jump down on the end block here and turn to the right side of this solid block that we just placed down and place down our dropper right here. Next, we're going to take a temporary block here and here, remove this temporary block, and then we're going to come to this other side and place down a stair right here on the top section here to where it is orientated, just like this. Next, you can go ahead and remove that temporary block there, and then come to the other side of your dropper here. Crouch place a hopper going into the side of that dropper, and then go around to the very back side of that dropper and crouch place a hopper into the very back side of it. Next, you're going to take one more hopper and crouch place a hopper going into the back side of that one there. Next, we're going to place in the observer that's going to power this dropper here. So what we need to do is place down 2 temporary blocks right here, and we're going to remove this block here. And then what we need to do is go down a little bit further, and we're just going to build directly underneath us. Make sure that you are crouched so you don't fall off. And then we can go ahead and jump down here and place down a observer. Make sure that that arrow is indeed facing down, and the face of the observer should be facing up. And remove that temporary block, and you should be able to see the face right there. Next, you can go ahead and place this block back here and remove those temporary blocks that you placed down below us. Just like that. Next, you want to grab your rails and jump on top of this hopper here. Go to this corner hopper and place down a rail there. Grab your leaves, and you're going to place leaves here and here. Place leaves here, and then some leaves right on top of your dropper. Next, you are going to grab your hopper minecart, and you're going to place it down. Very slowly give it a nudge, and remove that rail out from underneath it. Make sure that this hopper minecart is centered directly over top of your 2 hoppers. So it should look just like that. Then you can take your solid blocks and place solid blocks here and here. And then you're going to jump down here and place a solid block right here as well. Next, you're going to grab your leaves, and you're going to place a leaf block right to the right hand side of this block directly underneath that observer. Place one there. Then you're going to bring this all the way out and around until it is level with your scaffolding here and runs into these other leaves. Then you're going to build this out by 1, to the left by 1, and then build this all the way out till it comes out of the corner, and then bring this back into this leaf block here. Next, we're going to want our solid blocks, our repeaters, and our redstone dust. And we're going to go to this leaf block here. We're going to place down a solid block right here. The redstone can pass through. Redstone dust here with a redstone repeater here set on 1 tick delay. Place down another solid block here. Place down another piece of redstone dust here, and another repeater coming out of it set on 1 tick delay. Next, we are going to take our leaves again, and we're going to place leaves here, 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 and here. This is going to be the 2x2 area of our Trident killer. Then next, you will go ahead and grab another solid block and place a solid block right here, and a solid block right here as well. Go ahead and place down a temporary block right here with a permanent block directly below it. Remove that temporary block and grab a redstone torch and place a redstone torch right here. Next, we're going to grab our observers, and we're going to go to this comparator here, and we are going to go up top and crouch. That way we do not change the state of the comparator, and we are going to place a observer right on top of that comparator. Make sure that the arrow that is coming out of that observer is facing straight up into that block there. And if you break any leaves, be sure to replace them inside of their proper locations. Next, you're going to take your solid blocks, and you're going to place a temporary block here, a permanent block here. Remove this temporary block, and on this block we are going to have a repeater facing towards the right on a 3-tick delay. Next, we're going to take another repeater, and we're going to place a repeater here facing out of the left side of this block. Leave that on the standard 1-tick delay. And then we're going to place down a piece of redstone dust here and a solid block on top of that. That should allow the clock to start. And to stop that clock, you're just going to hit that lever, which is going to turn that off. Next, you can go ahead and grab 4 pistons, and you're going to jump up here inside of your Trident killer and place a piston facing in on each one of these blocks here. And they should be orientated just like that, facing inwards towards the leaves. Now, whenever you turn on this lever here on the right hand side, this torch here should turn on and your Trident killer should start working. That torch came on and that Trident killer is now working. We should also have our dropper over here that is constantly firing. If you want to test it out, you can go ahead and break these leaves here. Go ahead and throw an item inside of there, and it should immediately shoot it out through the stair and allow it to drop down there. So now that we have confirmed that this is working, we can go ahead and replace our leaves there and turn off our lever. Now the next check that we need to do is we need to make sure that our pulsing system works. Our pulsing system is responsible for slowing down this Trident killer just enough to allow the Ravengers to drop down into it. So what we need to do is go down here to this etho hopper clock, and where this temporary block is that is next to this redstone block, we're going to remove that temporary block. Be sure not to break that redstone block. Next, we're going to take 3 items. Make sure that these 3 items are items that stack to 64 and that they are 3 of the same items. Go ahead and place those 3 items inside of the hopper, and then that should be all that it takes to get the pulsing system working. So once again, throw on that lever, and we are going to allow this Trident killer to run. And you should see that Trident killer momentarily slow down or stop for a brief moment every few seconds, and that is exactly what we want it to do. So once we have verified that that part is working, then everything has been done correctly up until this point. We can go ahead and shut off that lever on the right hand side. At this point, we can go ahead and remove these temporary blocks, and you are going to want to remove all 5 of them. The next thing that we're going to do is to connect this Trident killer down below to that switch up top. Now, if you like and you don't want to do this part, you don't have to. You can just add in and leave this lever here. However, if you don't want it controlled by this lever and you want it controlled by the lever up top, then you can go ahead and do what I'm about to show you. What you're going to do is you're going to go inside of your scaffolding right down here. Once you are inside of the scaffolding, we have to find the southwest corner. And since we know that this direction is north, that means directly behind us is going to be south, which means that the southwest corner is going to be this corner here. We're going to go to this corner block here, and then we're going to go towards the west by 1 block, which means this block here is going to be that block that we're looking for. Go ahead and remove that block, and then go ahead and remove these 3 blocks as well. Once you have removed those blocks, you're going to place a glass block here, a temporary block here, and another glass block here. Go ahead and place redstone dust here, and then you're going to want to drop down below inside of your pillager outpost. Go ahead and remove that temporary glass block on the left hand side that does not have redstone dust on top of it. Then you're going to take a solid block and you're going to place a solid block right here. Go ahead and remove these 2 blocks. That way you can get up here and place some redstone dust on top of it. Then you're going to take a torch and place a torch right here. Next, you're going to take another glass block, skip this block here and place a glass block here, a temporary block here, and a glass block here. Remove that temporary block. Then you're going to place a solid block right here. Go ahead and come to the other side of this permanent block that you just placed down. Remove this block here and this block here. Remove these 2 blocks underneath it. And then you're going to place a redstone torch here and redstone dust here, here, and here. Next, you're going to make your way down to the lower floor here and find to where your redstone is coming through. Now that you're down here, depending on how the spawning location is set up on your pillager outpost, you may have to make a glass stairway down to connect to this, or you may have to remove part of the wall. In this location here, we're going to have to remove part of the wall because we need a redstone line going into this block here. So we need to go ahead and place a solid block right here. That way our redstone dust can go into this block that has the torch on it. Then we're going to go up 1 and remove this block here, this block here, this block here, and this block here as well. Then we can go ahead and place a solid block here and here, and then take our redstone line and we're going to run it all the way up, and then make sure that both of these also have redstone dust on them. This should be directly underneath that torch, so whenever that torch lights up, it's going to allow these to light up, which will allow this Trident killer to turn on or off. Next thing that you need to do is come up to the top where your glass and your redstone is, and we're going to take 2 pieces of glass and place glass here and here. Then you're going to place a piece of redstone dust here and grab some temporary blocks. Then we're going to place 2 temporary blocks directly underneath us and 1 out to the side, just like this. Then you're going to go over to this block that you just placed, remove these 2 temporary blocks, grab your torch and crouch, that way you don't fall off, place a torch here, and then you're going to place a leaf on top of it. Go ahead and place 1 piece of redstone dust right here. Next, you can take your redstone dust and place down a piece of redstone dust here, grab your glass, and then place down a piece of glass here, and then place redstone dust on top of it. Then you're going to grab your glass again and tower up 12 additional glass blocks. Make sure that you place redstone down as you go. Once you are 12 blocks higher, you're going to grab your leaves, place down a leaf on that lower glass block with redstone, and then jump on top of that. Take your solid block, and then you're going to place a solid block directly underneath you. And then you're going to take a redstone torch and place it directly over top of your redstone on this solid block here. Next, you're going to place down a piece of glass on top of that redstone torch, and then place redstone dust down on both of those blocks. Then you're going to scaffold up an additional 8 glass blocks, placing redstone as you go. Once you get up here, all that's left to do is take one final piece of glass block, and then you're going to crouch place that on the side of this comparator here. Then go ahead and place an additional piece of redstone dust on top of it, and this should all be connected. So in order to get back around, you can either scaffold across, or you can remove this leaf block here. We are going to jump across here, and then grab some leaf blocks, and we're going to place leaves here, and we're going to place leaves here as well, and then we're going to replace this leaf block that we just removed. Now, in order to test this out, the off position should be the same position with this one being off. Go ahead and hit that left switch, and that should turn on the lower Trident killer. And that Trident killer is indeed running. So let's go ahead and turn off that switch, and we will proceed to the next step. The next things that we're going to need is going to be 2 sea lanterns, some solid blocks, a few pieces of glass, and also some leaves. You're going to start by grabbing your leaves and go over here to your scaffolding, and you're going to crouch and place one leaf block on top of this repeater here. This leaf block is going to be your actual AFK location. And then inside of this hole here, you are going to place a leaf block here and here. And then you are going to place a solid block here and here. Next, you can turn to the right hand side and place a solid block here and here. Then you're going to place one here and here, being careful not to adjust the timing on the repeater, and then work your way all the way around the Trident killer. Once you've done that, you're going to take some more solid blocks, and you're going to start on this leaf block here, and you're going to build this up by 3. And then you're going to build this up by 3 all the way around the outside on top of all of these leaves. Building this up all the way around the outside is going to help ensure that nothing glitches through the Trident killer walls and escapes the Trident killer. So by the time you get done surrounding it, it should look just like this. Next, you're going to take one piece of glass, and you're going to place your piece of glass right here, directly next to your AFK spot. That way you will be able to see inside of your Trident killer. And then once you have done that, you're going to take another layer of solid blocks and cover up the entire Trident killer all the way around. Next, you're going to take your 2 sea lanterns and go to the diagonal corner away from your AFK area, and you're going to place a sea lantern here and a sea lantern here. Then you're going to take your solid blocks and build all the way around once again. Next, you're going to place a block here and a block here. Then you're going to build around again, except this time you're only going to build around the inside diameter. And then make a second layer, again only on the inside diameter. Next, you're going to go around the outside diameter with your leaves, only making one layer all the way around. Next, we're going to grab our glass. You can, however, use solid blocks on this if you wish. I just like the glass because you're able to see all of the mobs falling down throughout the farm. So you're going to take your glass and you're going to make a ring all the way around here. And then you're going to bring this ring up an additional 7 blocks, making 8 blocks in total. So once you're done with that, this is what you should have. And again, these should be 8 blocks tall. Next, we're going to want to go ahead and grab a bed. And then we are going to go to the side that has our AFK area on it right here. We're going to go all the way up to the top of the glass here. And on the right hand side, this is where our bed's going to be located. We're going to place 2 temporary blocks here. And then we're going to place a bed down and remove both of these temporary blocks. This is where our villager is going to be in order to make the center of our village. At this point, you're going to take your glass and you're going to bring this up an additional 9 blocks tall. Next, we're going to start on the compactor part of this farm. So you're going to need your solid blocks. You're going to need your regular pistons. The coral fans are optional. However, they will increase the rates of your farm. You will also need your leaves, your fence gates, your redstone dust, and also your redstone repeaters. You can start off by going on top of your glass here, and you're going to place solid blocks all the way around the top of this glass here, and then you're going to build it out an additional 1. So you're going to completely make it 2 blocks wide. Then you're going to grab your coral fan, and you're going to place in your coral fan on the sides of these blocks here all the way around. These coral fans are going to make the mobs think that this is a full block that they can stand on, and whenever they try to, they're going to fall right inside of the hole. Next, you're going to grab your pistons and you're going to find the side that has your AFK platform on it, which my AFK platform is directly below me here. And on this side with the AFK platform, we're going to place 4 pistons. So we're going to place 4 right here. Make sure that they are centered inside of the center of the platform and that they are 1 block from the hole. Now you're going to go to the opposing side and repeat that over, placing 4 more pistons. And then on the right hand side, we're going to place 2 pistons. And then 180 degrees on the opposing side, we're going to place 2 more pistons. Next, you're going to take your solid blocks and you're going to place 2 solid blocks in each corner. Just like that. And then you are going to go to the back side of each one of these pistons. and you are going to loop this all the way around until you run into where you started. Next, we're going to place in the redstone that's going to power these pistons for our compactor to work. So what we're going to need is our redstone repeaters, our redstone dust, and also our solid blocks. We're going to go to the side that has our AFK platform on it, and we're going to go to the set of pistons that are closest to it. You should have 4 pistons. Go ahead and grab your redstone dust, and we're going to start on this piston all the way on the right hand side, and we're going to line redstone dust all the way across here. Next, we're going to take our redstone repeater and turn all the way around, placing a repeater facing into that redstone line, and we're going to leave this repeater on a 1-tick delay. Next, we're going to remove this corner block here. We're going to grab our solid blocks, and we're going to place a solid block here, here, and one here. Go ahead and remove that center block. Next, you're going to take another repeater, and you're going to face a repeater going into that block there. This repeater needs to be on a 4-tick delay, and then you're going to place redstone dust here and here. Go ahead and take your solid blocks again, and you're going to place 4 solid blocks in these locations. And then you will take your repeater again and place a repeater towards the right hand side facing towards these pistons, and then you're going to line this all the way across with redstone dust. Next, we're going to take 6 solid blocks, and we're going to place in all 6 blocks right in these locations, and then we are going to place in redstone dust here and here with a solid block here and a repeater facing into that solid block. Next, you're going to take your solid blocks again and place 3 solid blocks here, here, and here. Next, go to this corner block here, and we're going to build out away from the repeater by 2. Then we're going to turn to the right hand side and build out in this direction by 8. Once you get to the end, you're going to turn to the right hand side, and right where this block is, you're going to place down a block here, and then you're going to turn to the left and place down a temporary block here and a permanent block on top of it. Go ahead and remove that temporary block. Next, we're going to grab our redstone dust and also our torches, and we're going to grab our torch and place a torch on top of that block there. Then we're going to take redstone dust and place 3 pieces here going into this block. Then we're going to follow this redstone dust all the way around until it runs into this repeater here. Next, we're going to grab our solid blocks, and we're going to go to the diagonal corner all the way across here. And we are going to build out in this direction by 2, going away from the repeater again. And now we're going to turn to the left hand side, and we're going to build this out all the way across until we are 1 block from this block here. Next, we're going to turn left 1 more time and place in 1 more block here. And then we're going to take our redstone dust, and we're going to line this entire surface with redstone dust until we run into this repeater here. Next, we're going to take our pistons once again, and we're going to jump inside of the center here, and we're going to bring up all of our pistons by 1. So all of your pistons should be 2 blocks high, and it should look just like this. You should be able to go to the corner block here and have an opening where you can jump up and out of it. Then you can go ahead and take 2 solid blocks and fill in those 2 areas. Next, we're going to start building the spawning platform. So what we need to do is we're going to build this center area up here all the way around by 1. And then this needs to be extended out an additional 2 blocks in each direction. So at this point, you should have a 10 by 10 spawning platform that should look just like this. Next, you're going to grab your leaves, and you're going to place another layer of leaves all the way around the outside diameter of this spawning platform. Next, you're going to take a few solid blocks and a redstone torch, and you are going to go to this corner redstone torch here, place a solid block down there with a redstone torch on top of it, and then place 1 more solid block on top of that redstone torch. Next, you're going to place a solid block next to it, another solid block underneath you, and then a piece of redstone dust on top of that corner. Then you're going to build up this entire surrounding area by 3 all the way around. And once that's done, it should look just like this. Next, you want to go to this redstone dust here, and you're going to turn to the right hand side, and you're going to build this out by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then on these last 2 blocks, you're going to build these up by 1. Go ahead and take redstone dust and run this all the way down here until it connects to your corner redstone dust here. And then we are going to take our leaves, and we're going to run a complete circle all the way around the top of this. And then once you reach the redstone, you're going to want to place leaves on top of this redstone as well. Next, we're going to go to the end of this redstone line, and we're going to grab our solid building blocks. We're going to go over here and place down 2 blocks here and here. Then we're going to jump over. And on this block here on the left hand side, if we are looking inside of our area, we are going to build this out by 1. Next, we're going to take our redstone repeaters and place 1 here. Leave this on the standard 1-tick delay. Then we're going to place another 1 here and place this on 4 ticks delay. Next, you're going to take 3 more blocks and place a block here here and one to the right hand side. Next, you can go ahead and jump up on top of these 3 blocks, and you're going to extend these out by 1. Then you're going to turn to the left and place 1 here, and then turn to the right, and we're going to place 2 here coming out in this direction. Next, we can go back to the right hand side, and we're going to turn left and place 5 blocks going across. So you should have 6 blocks total on this side, and you're going to go to the center to these 2 blocks, and you're going to extend these out by 1 each. So it should look like that. Next, we're going to go back to this corner here. We're going to turn left, and we're going to extend this out by 5. We're going to do the same thing here with these 2 blocks inside of the center. We're going to extend these out by 1 each. Then we're going to go to the corner and repeat this again, turning left and extending this all the way across until it runs into this corner block here. Next, we're going to find the 2 center blocks, extend these out by 1 each, and we should have something that looks like that. Next, we are going to take our redstone dust, and we are going to line every one of these with redstone dust, going completely around this entire circle. Make sure that you do not miss any blocks. Next, we're going to grab our leaf blocks, and we're going to place a leaf block on top of each one of these redstone dust. That way we do not have any raids spawning on top here. And then once you get to this area here, you can go ahead and crouch so you don't adjust the timing on these repeaters, and place leaves on top of each one of those repeaters. That way every single block of redstone is covered with a leaf. Once you have done that, you can come back up here, and you can go ahead and fill this in all the way across to keep lightning from striking down below. Once you get done placing in all of your leaves up top here, I would strongly recommend taking a whole lot of string and placing string on the sides and the top of these leaf blocks to keep them from catching on fire if they were to get struck by lightning. If you would like, you can go up on top of this farm here to the center of this area here. You can go ahead and build up by 13 blocks. Go ahead and grab you a lightning rod and place a lightning rod on top of the block here. And then you can remove all of these blocks out from underneath the lightning rod. Leaving that thing up there does not have to be connected to a block, and that should stop most of the lightning. If I were you, I would strongly recommend using the lightning rod and also covering all of these in string. That way you don't run into any kind of problems with these leaves catching on fire or burning from the lightning. Next, we're going to install our Ravager ejection system. So what we're going to need is to grab some sticky pistons. And we're also going to need our pistons and also our observers. We're going to go to each one of these corners that have the 4 squares marked out, and we're going to place 4 sticky pistons facing straight down on all 4 sides. Next, we're going to grab some more solid blocks, and we're going to go inside of the center here, and we're going to build out by 2, going kind of towards the center, and then we're going to scaffold up by 1. Next, you want to grab your observers, and you're going to place an observer on the furthest sticky piston from you, and the face of the observer should be facing away from you. And that means that your output dot should be facing in towards the inside of your farm here. Next, you're going to take your regular pistons and place a regular piston on each one of these observers, making sure that the head of the piston is facing towards the inside of the farm. And then you can go ahead and remove your 3 scaffolding blocks. Next, you're going to want to grab your coral fans and also your fence gates. And you're going to go to any side that you would like, and you're going to place down 3 coral fans on the left-hand side. And then you're going to place in 3 coral fans on that left-hand side, 3 coral fans here, and 3 coral fans here. Now we're going to grab our fence gates, and we're going to do the exact same thing, except this time we're going to place them on top of those coral fans. So 1 here, there, and there. Go ahead and open up each one of these fence gates. So this is what you should have. Go ahead and grab you your water buckets, and you can also grab you a temporary block and place in 3 temporary blocks here and 1 temporary block here. Go ahead and place a water bucket here and a water bucket here, and this center area here will be a source block where you can pick up more than 1 bucket of water. So go ahead and pick up a bucket of water and place 1 inside of this corner here. Grab another bucket of water and place 1 all the way over here in this corner. And then grab 1 more bucket of water and place 1 inside of this corner here. Next, you're going to leave this corner block water, and you're going to place in a block here and here to fill the water, and then you're going to remove all of these temporary blocks. You should check all 4 corners and make sure that all 4 corners have source blocks of water inside of them, and that it is all flowing in towards the center with no dead spots inside of it. You can go ahead and place a sign inside of your source blocks, and that will keep them from freezing. Next, what we need to do is take our input signal here, and we're going to connect it all the way up in order to power the rest of that farm up there. At this point, you're going to need your solid blocks, you're going to need your redstone torches, and you will also need your scaffolding. Solid block, and place a solid block right here, and place one on top of that torch with a torch on top of it. Next, we're going to scaffold up a little bit and repeat this process again. And we're going to repeat this until we get almost all the way up to the top. Alright, you're going to end your torch tower with having a solid block on top of the final torch here, and you should have a 1 block air gap between this block here and the bottom of your spawning pad. Next, we need to bring this over towards the side there, and the way that we're going to do that is build out to this side with our scaffolding, and this is where we want our final torch to be. So what we're going to do is place a torch here with a solid block on top of it, place another torch here, and we're going to have to scaffold up a little bit more. We're going to have to remove this block that's directly above us with the redstone on top of it. And then we'll go ahead and place one last solid block here. And we'll go ahead and place one final redstone torch there. Next, we're going to bring our scaffolding up over here so we can go ahead and replace this block that we just broke. So we're going to place it right here. Come up one more with the scaffolding. And we're going to want to connect this redstone dust into this block here. That way all of this gets powered. Next, we can go ahead and remove all of the scaffolding. Next, we're going to place a leaf block here and a leaf block here, keeping raids from spawning here and here. And we're going to remove this scaffolding as well. Next, we're going to make our way over here and down towards the bed. And we're going to take our temporary blocks and scaffold all the way over here. And next, we're going to place in leaves here. And then we're going to surround this bed all the way around with leaves. Next, we're going to build this up by 3 all the way around, leaving you a 1 block gap where you can walk inside of here because you're going to need to get a villager inside of this bed. And then you're going to place 3 blocks in right here. Now comes the fun part. You're going to have to get a villager up into here, and that is entirely up to you. If you do decide to make a villager breeder anywhere close to this, make sure that it is a ways away, at least 100 blocks. That way the village of the villager breeder will not be detected and you will not set a raid upon it. There's a ton of different ways where you can get villagers up here. You can drag them by boat and use a lead to drag them all the way up the scaffolding. You can make a spawn pad spawning a villager zombie and then convert him back to a regular villager and then place him in here. Any which way, you're going to have to get a villager inside of here and you're going to have to lock him inside of this area. So I'm going to place in a spawn egg here and spawn in a villager, and then I'm going to lock him in right here. The villager should link to the bed, which is what those particles indicate. And now a village has been created. At this point, you're going to wait for night and wait for the villager to go to sleep. And once it's nighttime, your villager should lay down inside of the bed and start sleeping. As soon as he lays down, you're going to place 3 more leaves in, 1, 2, and 3. And these leaves should be immediately right over his head. So whenever he wakes up in the morning, he's going to wake up and his head will be inside of those leaves. And as you can see, it's the next morning and his head is stuck in the leaves. It's not the best life for the villager, but some sacrifices have to be made. So we'll go ahead and remove these scaffolding blocks. And we can go ahead and remove this scaffolding all the way down as well. Be sure to remove this block that you place the scaffolding on. That way you don't have any raids that are going to spawn on it. At this point, I would strongly recommend that you take the time and double check every single one of your areas to where you do not have any areas where a raid can spawn. If they can spawn there, then they're going to spawn there, and whenever they spawn there, it's going to be bad news. So make sure that you take the time and make sure that you have leaves covering up all of these areas. A few final finishing touches. We need to go down here, and this is probably not entirely necessary. However, I am paranoid about raids spawning up here. So I'm just going to cover the entire top of this villager outpost, including this redstone dust here. Next, you're going to make your way back up to the top of the farm and you're going to find where your dropper's at. Go ahead and click on your dropper and you're going to put 5 or 6 blocks inside of there. Next, you want to come back up to the very top and you're going to hit that right lever, turning this on, and you should see those items dropping straight down. Now we're going to turn off our Trident killer and we're going to go back down to the bottom of the farm, and those items where they dropped are going to be on a single block. And that is where we need our hopper to be in order for our storage system to get the items put inside of it. So right there is exactly where we need the hopper to be. So we're going to jump down and we're going to remove this block here. Now it's just a matter of plumbing these things in whatever way that you want. However, just make sure that your hopper that picks up the items is right here. and you will be good to go. You can run this into a self-sorting system, or you can run this into a bulk storage. It does not matter, and it is entirely up to you. All right, the last thing that you need to do is get a few tridents together. You're going to want at least one trident down below, and if possible, I would highly recommend having the impelling 5 enchantment on it. That way you kill those pillagers with the banners as quickly as possible. Up here, this trident killer does not utilize any kind of impelling 5, and most of the mobs are going to die almost with one hit anyways due to fall damage. The only ones that are not going to die almost instantly are going to be the Ravengers, and the Ravengers tend to swim in water and get away from the trident, and then they don't die. So that's why this does not utilize the impelling 5 enchantment. So I would recommend at least one impelling 5 trident for down below, and at least 2 regular tridents up top here. However, 6 would be ideal. That way you have plenty of tridents inside of it. Once you're up here, you can go ahead and turn both of these levers on and jump up on top of this block here. This block here is going to be your AFK spot, and you're going to have to be on this block here in order for your raids to start. So in order to get the most out of this farm, you're going to want to run it with a looting 3 sword inside of your hand, and if possible, you're going to want to run it on hard mode. If you have it on hard mode, you're going to get the most drops. However, if you have it on medium or easy difficulty, then you'll get plenty of drops still. You just won't get as much as hard. As you can see, whenever we have a wave of the raid go down through here, they're going to be killed very, very quickly. All the items are going to drop out here, landing inside of that hopper, and then we're going to have our chest start to fill up down here at the bottom. As you can see, we already have an absolute ton of stuff inside of there for a very, very short time running it. One last QC check here. We have the villager still there. There's no raiders that spawned around him. No raiders are spawning where they shouldn't. The blender is blending down below. We have raiders dropping down through the raid chute. We have the Ravager ejector ejecting the Ravagers inside of the raid chute down below. And the compactor is compacting all of the mobs. With that being said, I would say that this raid factory is good to go. Well guys, that's going to wrap up this Minecraft Bedrock farm tutorial video. I hope that this farm really does help you guys out, and I hope that this raid farm is a great addition to your Minecraft worlds. If you think that this video deserved a rating, then please go down below and hit that like button for me. It really does help out the video, and it helps out the channel a ton. If you have any comments on this raid factory, or you just want to say hi, drop a comment below. I somehow managed to fall inside of this cage off of the top of the raid farm, and this iron golem is not happy. He said if you don't subscribe, then he's going to crush me. So please help.